My name is Mike Duckett. I'm fighting out of Rock Island, Illinois with Marty's Martial Arts.
My name is Runge. I train at MFS. I love training. I got a lot of friends in here and I just love having fun.
Fighting comes natural. I don't care who it is, when it is, or where it is. I'm a fighter. That's what I do.
He was on a good winning streak for a minute, so I figured I want a good fight.
That makes me train harder. That makes me want to punish them for calling me out.
I'm going to get in there and beat him at his own game. And if I don't like where we're at, I'm going to take it down and take the W any way I can.
Well, everybody has their bread and butter. A wrestler's going to want to take it down. A boxer's going to want to stand it up.
Yeah, this will be an exciting one.
Well, it was another one of those fights where he called me out. He got under my skin a little bit. I came out aggressive. He said he was going to hurt me. Go back and look at the tape. Who got hurt? Who quit? That's all I can say. Who quit? That's what I'm going to make Greg do. I'm going to make him quit.
Not at all. I got confidence in myself and my training partners. I'll be ready.
I come from a street fighting background. I want to keep it on the feet, and I want to throw heavy bombs and knock you the f out.
I'll be ready in any aspect of the game. I'm just willing to beat him in any part of the game he wants to stand up with.
I really don't want to say nothing. I don't want to touch gloves. Let's just go out there and throw hands. Let's do this.
Keep your hands up. Be ready for a tough fight, because I'm going to sling some bricks your way.
Making his way to the cage for our second fight of the night is Mike Duckett out of Marty's Martial Arts. With a record of 5-3, he's one of those guys for me that really, he's a staple on these cage aggression cards. You always see him, he always improves. He's said to have, he says about, he's got a unique style of his own. It's intense, it's ferocious, he always comes out to fight, and that's why I really enjoy watching him.
Oh, definitely. And like we said before, it's nice to kind of see these fighters grow, so it'll be interesting to see what he has. He's walking to the ring with a mask on. I'm sitting ringside about 25, 30 feet away, and I'm kind of nervous, man. I'm a big guy, but when you see somebody in a mask, that kind of throws you off. So I would be a little bit intimidated if I was standing in the blue corner right now.
Right, and you know what, and that's the theatrics with walkouts too. It's, when you've got a guy confident enough to do a little bit extra in the walkouts, that means he's already done his job, his business, his duty as trainer, been training hard, and he wants to add a little bit of spice to the walkouts, and that's just that says a lot to me that he's ready for this fight.
Now, if I was walking out, I got a feeling that my walkout would be rather humble, because I'm a humble person, Don't let the bravado and the strong exterior fool you. I'm a humble guy. I don't, these earrings are fake right now. I'm not wearing real stuff. I'm a humble guy, so I would be doing something that would be relatively low key, I would probably have somebody come out. I want to be wheeled out, you know what I mean? Right. I wouldn't want to walk. Why expend that energy? Not necessarily a wheelchair, maybe a go-kart, something like that. Something different,
You could combine the wheel and the mask and come out Hannibal Lecter style.
See? That's what I'm going to do. The next show, Cage Aggression 8, I'm not going to fight that one. Maybe Cage Aggression 74, I'll be ready for that one.
Right. You might be coming out in an actual wheelchair at 74. I might be there with you. We might be a little bit older than we are now for that one.
Hey, be fighting over applesauce. That'll work for me.
Mike Duckett enters the cage out of Marty's Martial Arts. Second fight of the night, Cage Aggression 7, unfinished business. Making his way to the cage tonight out of Milicic Fighting Systems, Greg Runge. And don't let the record of 1-0 fool you. This guy's been around for a while. And I'm going to talk about it a lot tonight with the transformation of Milicic Fighting Systems in the last few months. They got bought out by a new owner, Mike Reddish, who we remember from a couple of fight events back when he fought here. Bought it, renamed the whole Champions Gym as Core Fitness, just inside out, redid it, and it gave a new life, breath of fresh air to the Milicic fighters. And I'm really excited to see them fight tonight. We've got 7 or 8 of them on the card. and they have been training their butts off. New gym, new coaches, new everything. So it's going to be good to see what's been going on there. And Greg Runge is going to be the first to represent Milicic tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely. When you have somebody that comes in and takes over, also puts money into the gym, starts showing that they are dedicated to the fighters as well, that has to give you a boost that makes you want to go in and start training even harder.
And walking out right now with Eli Shetler, one of the other owners of Core Fitness, and Junior Hernandez in his corner, who was supposed to fight on the Titan event this weekend. It got canceled due to weather, but you know, that's when you're talking about who you got in your corner. You've got Junior Hernandez in your corner. That's quite a person to have. And you know, only good things can come when you've got somebody like that. So this is going to be a great fight to see, like I said, what's been going on at that camp, and if they're going to come back out and be the camp that they used to be.
Now, when we conducted our pre-fight interviews, both of these fighters said that they did not study film of each other. Is that something that you, as a fighter yourself, would suggest? Or is that something that you would say, no, I'm definitely going to go in and study some tape?
I definitely am going to go in and study some tape. I'm not going to go crazy with it, because if you do, you're going to try to analyze every little bit of it. But I'm not the type that goes in and doesn't know anything about my opponent. I do want to know a little bit, because he may have some tendencies that you can exploit early. But, you know, all the best of luck to both of them. They haven't watched any tapes on each other. They're going to find out real quick in the first minute about their styles. So.
All right, next couple out, please, buddy.
Introducing first, fighting out the red corner. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighs 165 pounds. He trains with Marty's martial arts and is sponsored by Lady I Love Fight Eater, Garden City Tattoos, and Rubicon. Joining us from Davenport, Iowa, Mike Goodwin. Fighting out the blue corner, he stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighing in at 154 pounds. He trains with Medici Tracking System that is sponsored by Erickson Chevrolet, Page Creative graphic design and multi-media talent. Joining us from Moline, Illinois.
Our referee for tonight is the well-known professional MMA fighter Clint Anderson. He's gonna ref this fight for Mike Diesel Duckett in the black and white shorts, Greg Runge in the all-white Jocko shorts. Here we go, round one.
Duckett kind of gave the throw slash move before the fight started, so, man, he's talking trash without talking. That's
Right.
impressive.
Both kind of starting with the kick to see what's going on.
Definitely feeling each other out. Maybe this is where not watching tape comes into play.
Right.
But I can also understand not watching it because you want to come in and be able to do something
And Duckett,
just react.
Exactly. And Duckett was very close to landing that hard hook right there. Lands a big kick right there, and I don't know if you heard that from here, but that thud is a little bit different than the slap. He actually had a thud than a slap. So the thuds are the one that are a little deeper into the tissue, but the slaps aren't good either. So.
And both of these guys, you can tell they're experienced. No look of nervousness in their face. They're just ready to go.
No, like I said, with a 5-3 record, and like I said, Greg Runge's been around for a few years now, fighting with Milicic and other teams, and also, like I said, he went to Evolution for a little bit, then back to Milicic. So 1-0. You know, records don't say everything when you're looking at it.
Definitely.
Duckett's got him up against the cage now and landing some knees. Needs to get the underhook. Runge needs to spin around like he does right there. Puts him up against the cage now. And that's really important when you're up against the cage like that. You really want to get the underhooks and swing them around.
Now, if you're Duckett, what exactly should you be trying to prep yourself for right now?
For a takedown. So when you're up in the cage, it's smart to take your opponent down, because then he's trapped up against the cage, has nowhere to go. They're throwing some knees on the zone, and this is almost where it's, it's just a power position. They're spinning back and forth, really trying to get a dominant position right now.
Both guys don't really want to give up too much ground.
No.
Duckett with a very nice
right,
left
and if you
to the
pay
head.
attention too, is where you kind of drive your chin into the other opponent, and forehead grinding. And shoulder butts are smart right here. See Duckett's shoulders right there by his face and can give a few of those shoulder butts, which is kind of an unused move in MMA. You don't see that a lot. Foot stomps right now would be, out of the blue, kind of outside the box. So both fighters doing a great job with, keeping it pretty even this round. Nothing huge has happened yet, but they're both staying very active, and Clint Anderson knows, he'll break it up immediately if the action gets stale.
Now it's like Duckett's trying to pin Runge against the cage.
Exactly, and there's got him up against the cage, and looks to get a rear naked choke, got his back. Runge does a good job of fighting out of that and getting his feet, keeps his back up against the cage. And so now we're back into that power position. And this is when, if you're not a huge fan, this is where you might say that, you're not sure what's going on with MMA. It's not a lot going on, but there actually is a lot going on right now.
Right. And each of these knees that these guys are throwing, they count. They count. Whether they're going to feel it right now or they might feel it, in the next round.
Right.
But they're going to feel it.
Right. And you forget, too, that this is also a points game. Nobody wants to talk about that in MMA. They want the knockouts and they want the submissions and all that grandiose things. But this is also a points game. You get credit and points for each shot landed, each knee, each takedown. So if it goes at the end, neither fighter may have knocked each other out, but still, you got to go to decision based off of something. So
definitely. Also in between rounds, I know these guys don't really appear to be too fatigued. Now I noticed that Runge is actually standing up. Is that something that might help a little bit with his breathing as opposed to sitting down and kind of, crumpling your lungs a little bit?
That is too. You have a tendency to put your hands on your knees and lean over when you're sitting down. If you keep standing up, it credits a lot to your cardio. If you look at them, exteriorly too, they both look in phenomenal shape, saying that they did their homework as far as dieting and doing the strength training and all that too. So, yeah, standing up is a big thing. When you're looking across the cage too and your opponent's not sitting down between rounds, got a little problem on your hands there. Round two.
Right, we had the first round and it looked like they were doing a little bit of filling out, so I'm expecting a little more offensive, moves this go around.
Here's where in round two is if you want a takedown, you kind of whip one off fast. You don't really see it coming. Try to get it out of the way, but they both seem to be going right back to where they left off in round one. Both landing a couple shots and really looking to make some impact in round two.
Like you were saying earlier, I wouldn't want people to be fooled and think these guys are resting right now, because they aren't. They're jostling. They're right in front of us.
You're throwing knees. You're working for underhooks. Duckett with huge knees, and he had a great Muay Thai hold right there. Looking for a guillotine right there. Yeah, Duckett right there, when you see him thrashing Runge around, he had his hands perfectly behind his neck, and you control his whole body. You can just swing him around, and you swing him right into a knee, is what he did there. Runge right now needs to lay heavy on him, lay his body weight on him, look to get his legs out. He's got his legs trapped right there.
It also looks like he could take an opportunity to take a few shots to the head if he likes to too, but
you can.
Doesn't look like he's going to do that right now.
Right. Just looking for position as well too. Duckett's doing a great job of keeping his leg tied up so he can't get full mount. Covering his mouth right there. Runge knows what he's doing. He's covering his mouth, which you can do. Impede the breathing. It's little things like that experienced fighters do.
That's not 1-0. That's somebody who's been around the block a few times.
Exactly.
But also, a credit to Duckett. He's been able to withstand this as well.
And we're right in front of him right here. He looks very relaxed on the ground, which is something that people don't understand either with MMA, is that people say it's very relaxing in the cage when I'm fighting. If you can go to somewhere and just he's on his back. He's not in too much trouble right here. He's still, doing a few things, and he's waiting for that one moment to, reverse it or do something.
Definitely hitting with the shoulder to the head.
There's those shoulder butts that can come from anywhere. And that's, like I said, that's something that is not very used very often, but when you're laying down like that, your head has nowhere else to go but the mat. So it's almost like it bounces off.
Runge also going back to covering the mouth of his opponent.
Right. And Runge will win this round. Just keeping active like this, staying on top. He is winning the round right now. So
yeah, when you're on top like that and also being offensive, he's definitely able to score some points in this round.
And it's smart because the first round could have went to anybody. It was very back and forth. But this round's definitely putting Runge up on the scorecards a little bit, landing big shots. Still just being patient, not doing too much, keeping low down. You don't want to posture up too much. That's when you get caught, arms caught.
Big knees to the side. Right
there you go. That's huge right there. Big round for Greg Runge right there. Hops right up, showing his cardio is great.
Now going into this third round, I would think that Duckett knows that he's probably trailing a little bit, so I would expect him to come out a little bit more aggressive and trying to impose his will on Runge.
Right, he needs to close the distance and almost rush Runge right away, because if it gets back into a clinch and he gets taken out and put on his back again, he wasn't able to do anything in the second round. He's a little more tired now, so when you're on your back like that, reversals are very hard to do. Very technical, and Runge was keeping very tight to him, suction cup to him. It's
right.
like, imagine being on your back and just trying to roll over without somebody laying on top of you.
And also, I'm not a fighter, so I'm not too great on strategy, but, I've been around the block, I've seen a little bit, so I'm guessing that Runge would realize that he's up, so he doesn't want to be too aggressive. Or would he decide that, okay, I'm going to go for the kill right now?
Probably the first one. He's already up, and you don't want to go out and completely blow it in the third round when you don't need to. If it was dead even, maybe both fighters would kind of just bum rush each other. But Runge just needs to, for the next 3 minutes, do what he's been doing. It's Duckett that really needs to come and do it, and he can, because we've seen him do that before. He's got that intensity and that fire to finish fights and to come forward.
And cardio also is definitely not an issue for these guys.
Right.
Big kick to the inner thigh right there.
And Duckett's still, fresh. He's still bouncing on his toes, still moving around the way, so he's not completely exhausted yet. And that's scary because he's almost loading up and waiting for an explosion.
Right.
Just waiting for that little crack to exploit.
And you can kind of see Runge was kind of gesturing earlier for Duckett to come in a little bit. So if somebody's telling me to come in, I don't think I'm coming in.
No.
I'm staying back.
I mean, it's a classic bait move. To do that would be foolish right now, and he's smart not to.
But also it comes back to strategy. Duckett has to know he's probably down right now.
Right, and we're already about a minute into the round, so he's got to do something right now if he wants to really wow the judges in a turn right now, because on the scorecard, Runge is probably up 2-1 or 2-0 depending on the judges.
Right. I'm sure Runge right now, where he's at, he's probably content to just do this.
Right.
And probably go out the time if he can.
And that's fine. You're not always in the sport. Like I said, it's a points game too. You're not always going to go for that knockout punch and that kick, because you leave yourself open a lot when you do that. That was interesting right there too, almost a gallop move. He's training, like I said, at Milicic. They're doing a lot of things. They do have Pat Milicic coming in and out, which is a legend in the sport, to show them those little tiny things that other camps aren't getting.
Right, because those are the things that matter.
And they matter in the third round. I mean, they matter at the end of the third round. That's when you dig deep and come out with some tricks that nobody's seen yet, or that nobody even has. We haven't seen any big takedowns. We've seen some clinches and some leg sweeps, but neither one of these guys are really big wrestlers, so they're not going to go for the double leg shooting or anything like that.
But, I mean, if you look at the corner of the screen, I know the clock has to be ticking, so you have that internal clock, and you know that you need to do something.
And both fighters need to do something now, because in case Runge is not up on the cards, he's got to
now both guys exchanging a little
got hit about 3 times there. If he wants to finish his fight, he's got to do something too right now to show that he's not just going to coast into the decision.
Right.
Going for the big switch kick. Look.
Last 10 seconds of this
10
final
seconds
round.
left.
Both guys letting their hands go right now.
Good showing, good fight from both fighters. little tentative in the third round. You're going to have that too. Like I said, it's different when you're in there. You don't know where you're sitting on the card. You don't want to expose yourself with a big looping overhand and leave yourself open. So, you know, until you're really in there as the fans, you really can't say too much.
Right.
This is so different.
And you know, I can say anything I want to sitting on the side right here,
Yes,
right now,
can.
sipping on my Monster Energy drink. You know, I can say a whole lot, but that's not necessarily how it's going to be if I decided to step into the ring myself.
And it's everybody's got a different seat in the house. You and I are seeing different things that people in the back are seeing. We're seeing different things than Clint, the referee, seeing in there, and everybody. So,
and that's why it's important to dominate your fight so that once it does come down to the judges, they understand that you've dominated. You know that you dominated, so you can feel a little bit better right now while the decision is up in the air.
Right, it's such a cliche line that everybody uses of don't leave it in the judge's hands, but it's really simple and it is so true that if you don't want to do that, then you really have to lay it all out, and sometimes that does mean take a risk or two, but these fighters have nothing to worry about tonight. They put it out there. Like I said, great fight from both guys tonight. We'll see what the judges have to say about it.
To the center, guys. Guys, come inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. Judge number 1 scores this contest 29-28, Runge. Judge number 2 scores this contest 29-28, Duckett. And judge number 3 scores this contest 29-28, declaring your winner by split decision, Runge.
There you have it. Greg Runge improves the 2-0 on a Milicic fighting system, and that really, the second round really did it for him.
That was exactly what happened. It looked like he was able to take control there and definitely score enough points and stay in those judges' minds and say, hey, I'm dominating this fight.
Exactly.